Hey, Epic Warpath fans. All right, we're going to take the 2 sprues of terrain we got in the Epic Warpath Kickstarter and really push it to the limit in building some ruins. So here's the idea. We're going to use what we were given. We're going to maximize everything that came in the box to us and try and dip outside of that minimally. We're also going to increase the building footprint size because we're making ruins, right? We can capitalize on the suggestions of empty space to give us bigger buildings. We're also going to give ourselves some options, some modularity in where we can move these things to. And we're only going to use basic skills, tools, and supplies. And again, we're going to do it as cheap as we can because we're mostly using stuff from the box. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so I didn't grab any video footage of this, but basically clip out all your pieces and build yourself some traditional wargaming corners or half boxes, right? Things to ruin up, and you can kind of keep in mind the typical ruin sector, dead zone terrain. Holding that in your brain is good. And then grab ye old Dremel and get going, right? Cutting off strategic pieces and keeping those for later use. And roughing up all the edges of where shells have come through and crumbled buildings. Here's a strategic taking of a corner, and even a small piece like this. You can find that can be handy for a little partial wall as well. And then just continue roughing up those edges, letting the plastics fly. And I think this part honestly was really fun. Oh yeah, I ran out of batteries. I had to charge halfway through, and you can kind of think storytelling like, hey, maybe this one fan here blew apart, and so how can I make it look like that? Let's just go front and back, and little narrative things like that become fun. So yeah, it's starting to look good. And grab the other common tool here that acts like a machine gun. Shoot at that corrugated metal with your drill and a small drill bit, and yeah. All right, so there we go. And notice all the sprue that's laying around, because that's where we're going to next. Very classic miniature wargaming, using bits of sprues as beams. So we get 2 types of sprue in the Kickstarter for Epic Warpath. One is the square types of sprue that your 25mm basis came on. The other is this round white sprue that terrain actually came on, which looks like pipes. So using both of those together, I mean, this really good contrast, and you can kind of think of one as structural and one going in different areas, as being pipes. Then I'm using parts of the box that I think the Gaming Essentials pieces came in to act as bases. And here's a good look at a corner piece that I built with those cutoffs of the terrain, right? And nothing fancy here, mostly just white glue and a little bit of super glue here and there where I want some extra bondage, like on that white or the gray I-beam down there. And yeah, you get something that looks like this. You'll notice some tongue depressors out there on the right. Those are what I painted the Asterians on. I'm gonna grab some milliput now, mix our 50-50 mix together with a little water, and there's that tongue depressor again that I'm using as a base for some small walls and pipes. Also just gonna put some milliput raw down on the table here and lift up a pipe and a beam. And yeah, so there we go. That's pretty much what our ruins are looking like there. And gonna cover with a little watery PVA now down on the ground and add some sawdust that I've been saving around. Yes, the first bits of flocking. So there we go. Traditional black rattle can prime job here. Nothing fancy. I think it's like a Krylon paint of some sort. There we go. We got things ready to paint. All right, so now we're just grabbing cheap yellow craft paint from the dollar store, and that's what one coat looks like. And we go for a second coat, making sure to get our internals as well too. And now we're gonna grab some gray craft paint and do the ceilings, the beams, the pipes, the corrugated metal, and the doors and fan blades. Anything we want that's gonna become metal. And here I'm gonna take some black gray and push back the spaces between the fan blades, and any of the electronic screens that I think will not be lit at this point. And I dirty some things up and add some like scorch marks and wash things down. And it is at this point where, frankly, gang, I have a mess. This actually does not look good. I had to stop right here and go like, okay, this is pretty bad. So what's actually happening from the wash and any additional layers of paint that go on, this cheap acryology paint, it's reactivating so fast. So it kind of looks like this grayish green mess. So what do I mean by a mess? We need to pull some individual things out, and we need to get a little bit more uniform in our building look here. So let's go for a dry brush of a different color over the top and pick out more of these pieces more and see how we can make that work better. I think with a dry brush, yeah, I think we can save this. Okay, let's give that a go. All right, grabbing some sand yellow from Vallejo and dry brushing, kind of a more an overbrush in a way. And yeah, I think we're onto something here. Let's just keep going. I'm already happier with the way this is looking. Yeah. All right. I think she can be saved here. And we're still leaving a little bit of all that coming through. Oh, yeah. Look at that satisfying hobby footage there. That dry brush. And see, it's making the building walls and things just come to the forefront a bit more. You know, you do need to be a little bit brighter, I think, oftentimes at 10 millimeter scale to make things stand out on the table. Oh, this side will be good. Oh, yeah. Lovely. So there we go. We're saving things here with dry brush. So we'll just go do that everywhere. Now I'm gonna pick out the little electric lightning bolts and a few little lights here and there with some kind of safety orange color. Then we're going in with a better gray, again from Vallejo. We're getting our doors, our piping, fan blades again, and anything else that we want to kind of pick out mechanical wise to the forefront, right? So these little bits of machinery and whatnot. I'm gonna do a spot color on the doors for this little dot here, like it's a little piece of glass. And grabbing some gunmetal by Vallejo Game Color, old school paint, and dry brushing back onto all that gray that we just put down, and a little bit onto the corrugated metal pieces, and especially starting now on this gunmetal on the edges of the terrain where raw metal has been blown or melted apart, and on our beams and pipes a little bit as well too. So yeah, and getting in and getting some scratches is good as well. Now, because of course you get some dry brush metallics into your darks, got to go and pick those back out again, push those back into the recesses, and that's looking good there. And the final step is to dry brush some different kind of gray onto your ground, cover, flocking, and anywhere on the roof or dust that you want to add for some final weathering. There we have it. Some finished ruins. Saved from a kind of a disastrous paint job, but came back, and I think, I'm pretty pleased with the way these look. I really like the damage, the battle damage I was able to apply, and they have great modularity. Like, look, here's kind of a plus with 4 sections. Here's a 3-section building and a 2-section building, and all this little tiny scatter is kind of ridiculous, but also kind of fun. I think as a final effort, I'll probably put some felt kind of padding footing down and kind of paint that gray. Here's one big building using all of it. And my GCPS, I think, are going to look great next to this. They should be coming any day now. I'm excited to show those off to you guys, doing a build video with them. I hope you enjoyed this and it was maybe inspiring. Toss me a thumb or a comment in down in the comments section and let me know you're out there. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye.